I'm here with Coach Friedman of the Twin City Thunder. Coach, thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk to me.
Yeah, Lucas, it's my pleasure. It's been having withdrawals from hearing you, so it's good to talk to you.
I think I would say we're having withdrawals, but I'd say Dan's having the most withdrawal from talking as much as he's used to. But we are excited. The season is approaching. Before we kind of get into what we're looking ahead for, let's talk about the end of last season. You guys were a new introduction into the league. So if you could break down your experiences, your first year in the USPHL, and how last year ended up for you guys.
Yeah, I think overall we're pretty pleased with the season as a whole, as a program. Certainly some bumps in the road for us on and off the ice as a new program, but we had great support up in Maine. We play up in Auburn, and that was a real positive. The community got behind the program, and I think we really tried to make it a fun environment for our guys to play in, and for teams to come up and play at as well. And I think hopefully you guys were witness to that when you and Dan came up for one of the games as well. With the atmosphere there, what'd you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just going to say, we thought it was incredible. We love going to these places and seeing the community support. And, we had Bill David take us around and kind of show us all the places that are supporting you guys. And it really does feel like a team and a community up there that's around the Twin City Thunder.
Yeah, and you hit on the community word, and the team's involvement there is we're just going to continue to be more entrenched in the community this year. That's a big area that I think we wouldn't say we want to improve on, but we want to continue to develop with the youth hockey that's around there, and just some other avenues throughout the Twin City area there. So that'll be a big focus for the guys this year. But I guess to get back to your question, because I think the end of the year for us too, actually, and I think we were pretty pleased with how we finished up. We finished above 500 as a new program in the premier level. That was our goal, was to be above 500, and so we hit that mark. And unfortunately, near the end of the season, there we kind of limped into the playoffs with a bunch of key injuries for some players that had been a big part of our program throughout the season that got us into the playoffs, and so that was a little step back there, and we played a tough South Shore team down there, and they took it to us. But I think overall it was a fun run, and it's always great to make the playoffs, and they were a strong team, so it was a good experience to play them.
So now let's get into this upcoming season. You obviously have another new addition with the NCDC team. So now you guys are at the NCDC level. You've been putting together a squad. Talk about what are the challenges? What have you found that's been interesting about this process, or is it just kind of another recruitment cycle?
Well, I think at the end of the day, you're going to face challenges wherever you are. Last year for Premier, we would say that a challenge for us was that we didn't have an NCDC program above us. So as the season progressed, we were like, okay, well, we're going to have the NCDC next year. Now that we have the NCDC, it's a whole new set of challenges, right? Recruiting for the NCDC teams here in the Northeast is tough, and then you're also, you're battling North American League teams, you're battling some Canadian leagues, so there's a lot of competition and choices for families. So you really have to try to talk to families and let them know what you're all about, and the benefits of coming to not only play for our program, but to play in the USPHL at the NCDC. So. It's tough, but it's fun, and we enjoy getting out there and watching a lot of games as we have been throughout not just the Northeast, but all across the country this off season, and even we had a trip overseas and to Canada as well. So we're trying to get out there and leave no stone unturned for us.
Yeah, I mean the USPHL tends to draw players from all over the place. I feel like sometimes you could throw a dart at a world map and you'd hit on a country that a USPHL player comes from. But now you're part of this NCDC. You have the NCDC model, which has premier teams that not only are directly feeding into these NCDC teams, but you also have affiliates too in other areas. So talk a little bit about how the NCDC model uniquely prepares players to get to the next level, whether that be college or the NHL.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, you see that with the success of the previous 12 teams at that level. They all had a lot of guys that have been going on to NCAA, Division I, Division III, and even in the NHL playoffs this year, it's great to see USPHL alums having some really good success in the Stanley Cup. So I think that's great for us as a program, for folks to see that there are players coming from our league that are getting to that level, getting to the top level of professional hockey, not just having the opportunity to play at the NCAA level. So I think that's really neat to see, and great for the kids coming up when they're trying to figure out leagues to play in. It's always nice to have alums that are having a lot of success.
And the last question I have for you is, you talked about goals with your first year in the Premier last year. What are the goals that you guys have as a team, specifically with your NCDC program, but also with your Premier program? Do you have anything, specific in mind, or any place you'd like to be at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think we're going to kind of hold true to what we had last year. Obviously, for us as a program, we want to make sure that we do things the right way, and we treat our players well, and that we treat our community well for the support that they give us. I think from sort of big picture, we want to make the playoffs at both levels. That's going to be important to us. We don't just want to kind of be okay. We're in the NCDC now, and that's great. No, we want to do well at the NCDC level, and we're going to work hard for our players, as do all the coaches in our league, to try to move them on to college. But just us in general, our ownership, our GM, myself, we're competitive guys, as are most of the guys in this business. So we want to win. We want to do well, and not just for us, but for our players.
Well, I mean, Dan and I have seen it firsthand. You guys have the support. Your ownership supports the team. It's a close-knit group of guys, and Twin City is an excellent place. We've said it a bunch on the show, to go play hockey. It's a great area. It's a great team, and we wish you guys all the best this year and great success. And we'll be up there at some point. We're still putting our schedule together, but we're excited to get up there and see you guys in person and call some Twin City Thunder hockey games.
Well, you guys are welcome anytime. We love having you, and maybe we'll look forward to seeing Dan in one of his special suits up there too. That'll be great, and the people really enjoyed having him around, as did the guys. So, and we'll get you on our little sports center set when you're up there too next time. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but our tech guys have a great sports center set for interviews and post game talks and all that. So maybe we'll let you guys experiment with that.
Yeah, I've been following that. That's very impressive. We're real excited to get in front of that. But Coach, thank you again for taking the time, and we look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Lucas. Same to you, and we look forward to seeing you during the season.
Joining me on the phone right now is Coach of the Florida Junior Blades, Coach Todd Pococke. Coach, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join us.
Thanks for having me, Lucas. I really appreciate having this chat here.
Well, so, it's off season, and, a lot of teams are really, resting up, but also kind of retooling, gearing up, reloading for next season. So what have you been focused on this off season, and what's been going on with you guys?
Well, the off season, along for all the teams is very busy. The in season is the fun part. The off season is the grind, where you're in the trenches, trying to get all these kids. And for us, both teams we're excited. It looks like we're going to have a good handful of returners. So basically, just building around those guys. Spots at all positions were there. So traveling to different showcases. Making phone calls. Every day. And kind of going from there, and getting these kids who want to be hockey players.
So, talk about last season a little bit. Last season didn't really start off where you guys had hoped, but by the end of the season, you had a pretty decent run, culminating in a Nationals run that was, correct me if I'm wrong, only about 42 seconds from continuing out of pool play.
Yeah, first off, thanks, Lucas. It was actually 23 seconds. So it was, kind of one of those where it's a learning tool for not just myself and my players, everybody. There's time to score goals, to get scored on. It doesn't matter. You have to play every shift hard, and you have to play every shift till the whistle, till the buzzer goes off, whatever it is, because it's never safe. We were winning most of that game there against a very, very good Metro Jets team, and right there at the end, we weren't able to get the puck out, which was a big thing that we talked about this season, and they did a good job of keeping it in and came down and scored a huge goal. But the biggest thing with that game, what I was really proud of, is we did the things that we needed to do to be successful. We needed, to take advantages of the opportunities that we got to score, and when we got big scoring. Obviously, Patrick Liatava's a stud, and we needed him to stand on his head, which he did. And we played a gritty game, blocked shots, hits, got pucks out, and everything there. So I'm really happy with that. But Tyler and myself, we knew that we could get to that point the whole season. It was just finding a way to do it. Like you said, it wasn't the start or even middle of the season that we had hoped for. But going through all the when I say issues, but the tough times there together as a team, and battling through, and some a lot of one goal losses throughout the season really helped us grow together. And the biggest thing that we wanted to bring into playoffs was a family mentality, and everybody had to believe that we could do it, and we did. So I'm very, very proud of all the guys, and we went to that national tournament, and pretty much everybody didn't think we belonged there and didn't think we would put on a show, and we went in and we actually didn't lose a game, just tied that one game to Metro and won the other two. So very, very happy with the guys and how we finished.
So now the question is, how do you continue that end of season momentum into next year? How many returners do you have, and what kind of things are you looking to keep from last season as you head into next year?
Yeah, no, good question. Especially at this level, there's never a guarantee, until the guys show up at training camp as to who really is coming back. But we're planning on having about, I'll say approximately 10 to 11 returners on each team. And moving forward from there, and again, we're going to use. You're not going to dwell on the past by any means and talk about last season, for the entire duration of this coming season. But we're really going to use that as a learning piece now with those guys returning that have been through the trenches there and have had had to battle through everything that we did, and then also seeing the success that we did have with playing the way that we needed to and believing in each other. We're going to really carry that into this season, and that's going to be the message going into for both teams and for all the new guys to understand there, and especially that 23 seconds there. You got to play till the end. You're never safe, but like I said, we're really excited with who is returning, and we have some really good guys that we're talking to that not only good players but good character guys. I think that's really, really important. To bring into. So we're really looking forward to getting going here. It's only been a couple months here, and it seems like a long way to go. We're ready to go already, but we'll get there.
Yeah, the off season, it always seems so long when you're done in May, and then all of a sudden it feels like it's the end of June, and then it's like, oh wait, here we are again.
Yep, exactly.
So one more question for you, and feel free to kind of expand on this as you like. You talk about building character, you talk about all the lessons you learned through the season. So talk a little bit about maybe the culture of the Florida Junior Blades, and why should a prospective player consider the Florida Junior Blades as their home?
Well, for us, as a program, we treat it as professionally as we can. We get the inside scoop from the Florida Everblades, the USPHL team that plays here, and taken, from all of our experiences and treat it professionally. But, especially for us as we get through to these kids, and, being a hockey player is so much more than just stepping on the ice for practice and games. Obviously that's what we train for. That's the fun part. But there's so much more to it, even, obviously the off ice and all that type of stuff. But, just, them knowing that, as a staff, we'll go through a wall for our players. And when players understand that, that makes them more prone to play for you and give everything that they have, knowing that you'll do it for them. So that's important. We have a lot of meetings, of course, going over video and talking about the hockey side, but again, we talk about the importance of character, and moving forward in life, whether it is with hockey, school, your job later on, and how much that can impact you. If you don't have good character, and the importance of having it within your team, because we've all been on teams at some point, whether it's hockey or another sport, where a teammate or two or three or 5, 10 aren't good character kids, and it just causes a rift in the locker room and can cause issues. But when everybody's working together and enjoying themselves, that's really going to expedite the development process. It's really going to boost the confidence, which is then going to create better play on the ice. And when everybody believes in each other, everybody's on the same page. That's when the wins can be there, and everybody's going to develop much quicker together to help their individual side, but also the team. So for us, it's helping these kids along with life as a whole, as opposed to just the hockey piece. Because again, there's so much more to that than being a hockey player than just the ice part.
Coach, thanks for joining me today, and we look forward to getting back into the season and working with you guys a little bit come September.
Sounds good, Lucas. Really appreciate you having me.